We were programmed to try to anticipate, and we were told this shouldn't happen. So in that place, or in the interim of doing that from this place to that, forgive yourself for anticipating what you think is supposed to happen. So what? Who cares? But as we get better at it, you'll realize you don't need to know what's going to happen. The left part of the brain, in the form of like neuroscience, they know this now, actually picks up information based off of experiences. So my experience, I talked about this earlier. I went to school when I was a kid. I learned the English language. I learned to speak. I learned how to articulate. Not as good as most people, but I did. So when I'm present, my left brain is engaged fully, but it's not thinking. And then what happens, I open up my right brain. So even these words coming out weren't preempted. I didn't write anything down. The only thing I knew I was going to talk about was imagination. I didn't know what direction I was going to go in until I sat down. But because through my experience, I learned to speak the English language and certain words and certain phrases, and I had certain experiences, used certain analogies, the left brain engages that in order to fulfill the energy that's coming through to explain it. That's what we want to do all day long. You want to stay in that state. Meditation puts you in that place. But a lot of times we look at meditation as a quiet time in the morning, quiet time in the evening, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if we can look at every moment of every day as that place of your spiritual practice, you'll end up meditating less in the morning and less at night, because meditation is a pause of life. So you press the pause button to step out. So you watch a movie, you need to get something, you pause the movie. But when you're fully equipped to watch the movie from beginning to end, you don't need the pause button. But knowing you have a pause button makes you feel good. You know, if you're in a movie theater, it goes 2 hours and 20 minutes, and the great scenes come, I gotta go to the bathroom. Like, that distracts you from what's gonna happen in the end. So having meditation, actually knowing you have it, and knowing it's there, when you get really good, you seldom have to use it. And if you do have to use it, there's nothing wrong with it. But what I'm talking about is staying present and utilizing the imagination in the present moment all day long. And when we get distracted from it, so what? Let go. Because when you let go of thought, the natural swing is right here. Just like a pendulum, when you let go of the energy of the pendulum, it swings here. When you pull a cork under the water, when you let go, the natural state here. It's the natural state of a human being, due to contrary belief, is peace. When you let go of everything, you literally fall into peace. You don't have to work yourself to peace. You don't have to work towards it. You don't have to move towards it. It is your natural state. That's why when you fall asleep, you're at peace. So it's about learning to let go and allow. And this is a concept that we weren't taught. We were taught to go out there and grab the bull by the horns. And then you sit back when you get older, and like, why would you grab the bull by the horns? What's the purpose? Why can't we just let the bull run and watch it? And people were trying to control the world, to the physical world outside of them, for the lack of the control inside. So in this paradoxical state that we're coming into right now, the earth is waking up to this. It's slowly flipped. It was almost as if the horse was pushing the carriage. And if you've never seen a horse pull the carriage, you would never think of putting the horse in front of the carriage. But then you entered into a village and you saw that. And even if you saw it, you're going to ask questions. You're not going to just do it right away. And over time, you see the efficiency of allowing the horse pulling the carriage. And that becomes the center part of where we are. It seems paradoxical to the old way we did in the other village, but yet, once we see it, it makes sense. And then from that moment on, even what I'm talking about right now, maybe 20 years, 30 years from now, the evolution of even the deeper understanding what I'm talking about will simply expand. It never ends. So even what I'm talking about right now is just a minutia of what we're about to explore. But before we get beyond this step, you go there, and that's the quantum leaps we're going to make. But imagination right now is one of the greatest tools we have. Yes, it's fun to just imagine haphazardly about stuff, but when you actually know, the imagination generates a vibrational frequency to place the state where we are, almost how a GPS, I want to go somewhere, I've never been there, but I have an understanding what it's about there, so I put it in and I'm going to Malibu. Now I've never driven from here to Malibu, so I put it in there, and then when I come back to this place, I simply stay present and follow the GPS. Make a right, do a left. I don't try to get all the bits of information out of it right away, because if it was somehow how to conjure up all the information for me in a moment, it says, well, in this journey you're going to take 50 rights and 30 lefts. But that doesn't do me any good here. Because when do I make the right and when do I make the lefts? Which comes first? So we only need each bit of information as we're in. That's why when you're present, all you'll ever need to know, you will know in the present moment. When we think we need to know more, we get distracted from the very place that's feeding the information. It's like if I was busy arguing with someone as I was driving and I didn't hear the GPS, the next thing I'm going to hear is recalculate. But even when we don't listen, the universe is still recalculating us. So it's not a big deal that you got distracted along the way. It isn't. It really isn't. You know, there were times when you first do it, you get lost, but you know, I say distraction is the art of discovery as well. And you usually discover not to get distracted.